What if I told you that one of the most trusted car and motorcycle brands in the world was born out of poverty, broken dreams, and a relentless willpower to never give up? This is the incredible story of Soichiro Honda, a poor Japanese boy with no money, no formal education, and no connections, who rose from the ashes of World War II to build Honda, a name now synonymous with innovation, reliability, and success. This is not just the story of a company. It's the story of determination, mistakes, and one man's unshakable dream to build machines that move the world. Soichiro Honda was born in 1906 in a small rural village called Komyo, Japan. His father was a blacksmith and ran a small bicycle repair shop. His mother was a weaver. As a child, Soichiro didn't have toys or fancy clothes, but he had something far more valuable: curiosity. He loved watching his father repair bicycles and was fascinated by how machines worked. He would often take apart anything mechanical, clocks, bikes, engines, just to understand how they functioned. At school, he wasn't the brightest student. In fact, he struggled with academics. He later admitted he didn't care much for schoolwork. He preferred working with his hands. When he was just 15 years old, he decided to leave his hometown and travel to Tokyo to look for work. He had no money, no plan, only a dream to work with machines. In Tokyo, Soichiro found an apprenticeship at a small garage called Art Shokai. There he worked tirelessly, cleaning floors, washing parts, and watching mechanics repair cars. At first, no one took him seriously. He was just a poor country boy. But his passion caught the attention of his boss, Yuzo Sakakibara, who began teaching him about engines and automobiles. Soichiro quickly proved himself. He could fix problems no one else could. He didn't just repair, he improved. After 6 years of learning, he became a certified mechanic. But he wanted more than just fixing cars. He wanted to build them. So, at just 22 years old, he returned home and opened his own repair shop, Tokai Seiki, where he started creating parts and experimenting with engine designs. Success didn't come easy. Soichiro's first invention was a piston ring, a small but crucial part of car engines. He tried selling it to Toyota, but they rejected it, saying the quality was too poor. Many people would have given up after such humiliation. But not Soichiro Honda. He went back to school, studied metallurgy, and learned how to improve the materials and techniques he used. 2 years later, he perfected the piston ring and won a contract with Toyota. But just when things were finally looking up, tragedy struck. During World War II, his factory was bombed twice, completely destroyed. Then, when he rebuilt it, an earthquake leveled it again. Everything he had built was gone. He lost his machines, his factory, his money, everything. Most people would have stopped there. But Soichiro refused to surrender to fate. Japan was devastated after the war. Cities in ruins, resources scarce, people hungry. But Soichiro saw an opportunity. He noticed people struggling to move around. Gasoline was expensive and cars were a luxury. So he decided to attach small engines to bicycles, giving birth to the motorized bicycle. He used leftover generator engines from old military equipment, strapped them to bikes, and started selling them. The product was crude but practical, and people loved it. Soon, demand exploded. Soichiro officially founded the Honda Motor Company in 1948. His mission was simple: we only have one future, and it will be made of our dreams if we have the courage to challenge convention. Honda's first major product was the Dream D-Type motorcycle. Sleek, efficient, and affordable. In a time when Japan was rebuilding its economy, Honda motorcycles gave people freedom and hope. While other companies tried to copy European designs, Soichiro built his own style. Uniquely Japanese, efficient, and simple to repair. Soon, Honda became the largest motorcycle manufacturer in Japan, and by the 1960s, the largest in the world. But Soichiro wasn't satisfied. He had a new dream: to conquer the automobile industry. Everyone told him he was crazy. Competing with Toyota, Nissan, and global giants like Ford was suicide. But he said, "I just want to build something that makes people happy." In 1963, Honda released its first car, the T360 mini truck and the S500 sports car. They weren't instant hits, but they showed the world Honda's engineering excellence. The company focused on precision, fuel efficiency, and affordability, values that would later define the brand. Then came the Honda Civic in 1972, a small car that changed everything. At the time, the global oil crisis made fuel-efficient cars highly desirable. The Civic's innovative CVCC engine was so clean and efficient that it became the first car to meet the U.S. Clean Air Act standards without using a catalytic converter. It stunned the automotive world. From a small shop in Japan, Honda had risen to challenge the biggest automakers on the planet. Under Soichiro's leadership, Honda wasn't just another company. It was a family of dreamers. He encouraged creativity, rewarded failure, and told his engineers to experiment freely. He once said, "Success can only be achieved through repeated failure and introspection." In fact, success represents the 1% of your work which results from the 99% that is called failure. That philosophy led to breakthroughs. The Honda Accord, which became a bestseller worldwide, the VTEC engine, which revolutionized power and efficiency, and Honda's expansion into racing, from MotoGP to Formula One, where the company proved that Japanese engineering could outperform even European giants. Despite his success, Soichiro Honda remained humble. He didn't see himself as a businessman, but as a craftsman. He preferred wearing work clothes instead of suits. He loved visiting factories and talking directly to his workers. He believed in empowering people, not controlling them. When he retired in 1973, he left behind a company that valued not just profit, but passion and people. Even after stepping down, he continued to inspire engineers, mechanics, and dreamers around the world until his passing in 1991. But his spirit lives on. Every time a Honda engine starts, every time a driver feels that smooth ride, and every time a motorcycle roars down the road. Soichiro Honda's story teaches us that greatness is born from persistence. He wasn't born rich, he didn't have connections, he didn't even have a university degree. But he had a dream, determination, and a refusal to quit. He turned rejection into motivation, failure into innovation, and tragedy into triumph. From repairing bicycles in a tiny rural shop to building one of the most respected global brands in history, Honda's journey reminds us that poverty can't stop passion and failure can't defeat faith. So the next time you see a Honda car or motorcycle, remember, it's not just a machine. It's a symbol of resilience, courage, and hope. It's proof that one person, no matter how poor or uneducated, can change the world, as long as they have the heart to keep dreaming. This is the story of Soichiro Honda, the poor Japanese boy who refused to give up and built a global empire of dreams on wheels.